Stop everything. This offseason just detonated in Los Angeles. And Justin Herbert's future is hanging on a handful of high-risk, franchise-altering moves. Because right now, 3 bombshells are colliding at once. A blockbuster wide receiver trade is on the table. A rookie playmaker just got flat-out disrespected nationally. And a single cryptic message from one of the most dangerous players in NFL history just sent Chargers fans into chaos. Before we go any further, like, share, and subscribe if you ride with the Bolts and want this team to finally break through. Now let's get straight to the breaking news, because the clock is already ticking. One number is driving everything. 1,429. That's how many receiving yards George Pickens just put up in Dallas. 93 catches. 9 touchdowns. 0 off-field drama. And now his name is quietly, but aggressively, circling the Chargers in trade conversations that could instantly reshape this offense. Here's the proposed framework making waves across the league. The Chargers send their first-round pick, 22nd overall, plus a 4th-rounder. In return, they get a true number 1 wide receiver in his prime. And that matters, because when the season ended, the truth was brutal. In the wild card loss to New England, the Chargers' top 4 receivers combined for 97 total yards. 97. In a playoff game. When everything was on the line. Keenan Allen couldn't separate. Ladd McConkey was bottled up. Quentin Johnston disappeared. And the offense collapsed so badly that Jim Harbaugh fired Greg Roman days later. But firing a coordinator doesn't fix a talent gap. That's where Pickens comes in. After a rocky stretch in Pittsburgh, Dallas took a gamble in May 2025, acquiring Pickens for a future 3rd and 5th-round pick. What followed was a full-scale breakout. He led the Cowboys in every major receiving category and played clean football all year. Those numbers would have led the Chargers across the board. More catches than Allen. More yards than anyone on the roster. More touchdowns than Johnston. Now Dallas is cornered. They're tight against the cap. Pickens is due for a massive extension or a franchise tag projected near $28 million. And league insiders believe the Cowboys are weighing whether to trade him now rather than lose leverage later. So here's the gamble. If Los Angeles pulls the trigger, Justin Herbert finally gets a dominant, physical, vertical threat who can win one-on-one when plays break down. But there's a shadow over this move. Pittsburgh doesn't usually quit on talent. And yet Mike Tomlin moved on from Pickens before his rookie contract even expired. That history matters. Antonio Brown. Martavis Bryant. Chase Claypool. A pattern exists. So here's the first real question. Is George Pickens the final piece Herbert needs, or the next risky bet that blows up? That debate alone would dominate an offseason. But it's not the only breaking story shaking this franchise. Because while fans argue about wide receivers, a rookie running back just got flat-out disrespected on a national stage. Amarian Hampton deserves more respect than he's getting. Week 4 against the Giants, Hampton exploded for 128 rushing yards, the most by a Chargers rookie since LaDainian Tomlinson. Read that again. Since LT. Before injuries derailed everything, Hampton was averaging over 60 rushing yards per game. He showed vision. Patience. Burst. Then everything went sideways. A fractured ankle in Week 5 erased 7 games. When he returned, the offensive line was decimated. Rashawn Slater was out. Joe Alt was hurt. Running lanes vanished. 1 week before the playoffs, another ankle injury reduced Hampton to a single carry in the wild card loss. Even then, the numbers tell a different story. 545 rushing yards. 4 touchdowns. 4.4 yards per carry. 32 receptions as a pass catcher. All in just 9 games. Despite that, Maurice Jones-Drew ranked 64 running backs and didn't even place Hampton in the top 32. He ranked him below multiple veterans, and even below his own teammate, Kamani Vidal. The explanation cited injuries and availability. Fair points. But context matters. Hampton was the starter. The coaching staff believed in him. The line collapsed around him. And he still flashed difference-making talent. So here's the second question, the one that should spark real debate: did Amari and Hampton get unfairly buried in these rankings, or do injuries erase production? Because this matters going forward. If Hampton stays healthy behind a rebuilt line, the Chargers may already have the explosive back they've been searching for. And yet, none of that compares to the final bombshell. 3 words. That's all it took. Mike to the Chargers. That's what Tyreek Hill posted shortly after news broke that Mike McDaniel is joining Los Angeles as offensive coordinator. No explanation. No follow-up. Just a message that instantly lit the fan base on fire. This isn't random. Hill and McDaniel rewrote offensive efficiency together in Miami. In 2023, Hill led the league in receiving yards and touchdowns under McDaniel's system. Their chemistry was real. Proven. Explosive. Now Hill is expected to be released as Miami clears cap space. He's also coming off a devastating knee injury suffered in September, a torn ACL and dislocated knee that ended his season. Back in November, Hill posted, "I need to go home," fueling speculation about Kansas City. But now the narrative has shifted. With McDaniel heading west, the idea of a reunion suddenly feels possible. Does it make sense for the Chargers? On paper, it's complicated. They've invested heavily at wide receiver. They'd be adding a 32-year-old speed receiver coming off major surgery. The contract would be massive. And chemistry with Herbert is not guaranteed. But here's the upside. McDaniel already knows how to deploy Hill. He knows how to weaponize motion, spacing, and speed. And pairing Hill's explosiveness with Pickens' physicality would completely change how defenses play this team. So here's the final question, the one that divides the fan base right down the middle: do the Chargers go all in on Tyreek Hill, or is this nostalgia chasing disaster? Because when you zoom out, the vision becomes clear. Pickens as the alpha outside. Hill as the motion weapon. McConkey thriving underneath. Hampton healthy behind a repaired line. Mike McDaniel unlocking the entire system. That's not just an offense. That's a statement. But every move comes with sacrifice. Trade the first-round pick, and you pass on offensive line reinforcements. Sign Hill, and cap flexibility disappears, jeopardizing extensions for defenders like Khalil Mack. Rely on Hampton, and health becomes the wild card. And hovering over everything is the reality no one wants to say out loud. Justin Herbert is 0 for 3 in the playoffs. The window is tightening. The AFC West is brutal. Kansas City is reloading. Denver is rising. And one wrong move could waste another year of Herbert's prime. But if it works, if all of it clicks, the Chargers go from 3 playoff points to legitimate Super Bowl contention. This offseason isn't about caution. It's about conviction. And right now, the league is watching to see who blinks first. Dallas, Miami, or Los Angeles. Because one signature could change everything.